Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Priya, aka Beauty and the Books, and as you can tell from the title, we do all things beauty and book based. Yeah, so if it sounds like just a little bit of you, then you know what to do. That is going to be my cringy tagline for the start of every single video now, so if you've seen this, I'm sorry, you just gotta skip forward like 30 seconds and we'll be done with this. If you hear rattling, it's my earrings. So today we are reviewing Hijab and Red Lipstick by Yousra Imran, and just a disclaimer, this was gifted to me by #press, and this review is part of their book tour. So if you want to know what I thought of this novel by Yousra, then you know what to do, just keep on watching. So just a trigger warning and a slight disclaimer before I start this review. The book itself does include some sensitive issues such as discussions of rape, domestic abuse, and also sexual assault. So if that is something that you're not comfortable with, then I will put a disclaimer in this review before I mention those topics, and also just be aware of that when you're looking at the book. Now, Yousra herself actually won a competition with #press, and the prize was a traditional book deal, and this was the, I don't know, the fruits of her labour. So this is the result of her winning that book deal. So going into the actual novel itself, it is about this family, and mainly Sara, and she is the eldest daughter of 4 siblings, I want to say. So there's her and 3 others, and it's about her relationship with her family and also the outside world, being a half Egyptian, half English individual, and also one that practices Islam. Now at the beginning of the novel, she starts her journey up in London. She's completely westernized and she's just, you know, living her life like a lot of mixed ethnic people do, and from the onset you can see that her father is someone that is quite controlling, is very traditional, and her mother, who is white British, has converted to Islam. So the novel then follows the family's movement into the Gulf. She doesn't actually say which area of the Gulf they moved to, they just say the Gulf. So it then follows the family moving there, going on holiday into Egypt, and how you see the roles in the family like switch. Just like that, everything has changed, everything is more intense, everything in her mind just kind of goes downhill, down there, just down. The novel is basically her trying to take little bits of freedom as and when she can, claiming her own identity regardless of her religion, regardless of what her father says, regardless what society wants to put on her, and how she navigates these challenges, how she overcomes them, and how she finds ways to be free in a situation which she really has no freedom. I'm not going to really dwell on the characters a lot, but I do need to make a proper kind of declaration of my love to Sara, because she is just a formidable character. She's not only strong, she's also likable, which can sometimes be rare in a novel like this. You can sometimes get annoyed with these, or just pity them, or not really admire them, but Sara is definitely an admirable, strong, bold, likable, witty, and also relatable character. For someone that comes from an ethnic background like myself, I could kind of relate to her. So just generally her narrative, her point of view, the way she speaks, the way the actual accounts and retellings of her story were told, I just really love them. They had a good amount of humour to them, and I just was really engrossed into her story from the way that her point of view was written. It was like she was writing her diary, and I think that makes sense because the form of the novel is that Sara is telling her story to an interviewer who is then making a documentary for her. So the tone and the way that the novel has been written and the layout is very kind of diary-esque and very conversational, and I was like living her experiences, and when she got her I was like, what? Excuse me? And then when good things happened to her I was like, go you, and you know, all of those things. And that is what you need in a protagonist in a novel like this. You need someone that's completely likable, that you can associate with, and you feel every single step of the way what they are feeling. For me personally, I didn't think like any aspects of the story dragged on. If anything, I actually could have done with a little bit more detail into certain issues and maybe a little bit more focus onto some of the characters. And I'm really sorry if this whole review was just like, it was really good, it's really good, it's really good, it's really good, it's really good. Now, as I mentioned, the novel is basically Sara telling her story to an interviewer, and because of that there are actually slight interjections bringing the narrative back to the present day where Sara is conducting this interview. A really good strategic ploy in breaking up the narrative and giving the reader a little bit of a break. It gives us a chance to think, wow, as if. Because this novel deals with a lot, I tend to see that pattern happening, the interjections happening after one of those kind of key events in the novel. I have not actually read a lot of ethnically diverse literature. I think the minute has probably peaked at just reading a lot of literature inspired by African culture and the odd novel inspired by Indian culture. I've never actually read anything inspired by Arabian or Egyptian culture or anything like that, and I do realise that Africa, like Egypt, is in Africa. I realise that, okay? But what I mean is, you know what I mean, yeah? But I've never actually experienced anything overtly Egyptian, so because of that I really loved the inclusion of the culture, the inclusion of terminology, and I love the way that Imran does it. She doesn't do it in a way that is translated for the English reader. She does it in a way that, like, I'm writing it, if you want to know what it is, Google it, type thing, and that is what I really love. But I don't know if this comes in all copies, I assume so. But in the back she has a glossary, I'm not quite sure how well you can see that. And then within the novel she has typical Arabic words. Doesn't explain it or anything like that, just drops it in there, and if you want to know what it means, if you want to get a better picture of it, then you Google it, which I think is good, because it's not up to the author to educate you, it's up to you to educate yourself. And that is my TED talk. Okay, so on to the ending. The ending did it for me. It just sealed it up in a nice tight bow and it was beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm gonna have to read off my notes here. Imran used the ending to claim back the image of Islam. It's in my head is what I think she did. There's this depiction of Islam out there that is very negative and very oppositional, to say the least. And she's done it in a way to claim it back and say, actually, no, that is not the way. And she does it from a feminist standpoint as well, and highlights the key feminist ideals that Islam represents, and also the celebration of women within the culture and the religion. So the last few pages explain the feminist stance of Islam and the strength of what the religion means to women and how they are included without it being censored by someone with ulterior motives. And by that I mean throughout the novel the depiction of Islam and what it means and its teachings is often warped and censored by like male figures, especially her father, to kind of suit his idea of what being a woman in this culture is. And so the typical, you must obey, you must like serve your husband at all times, you mustn't speak up. She just throws it out the window. She goes, actually, you know, record scratch, like, that is not the case. That is not the case. She goes on to discover all of these amazing women writers, authors, philosophers, scholars, just these women in her own culture that are breaking the boundaries, that are actually giving her the education that she wants and needs, and it's just such a beautiful ending. Like, I can just imagine her sat like in a library, just all this information like flooding into her brain, and it's like an emotional awakening. I can just imagine it, and it's just beautiful. So the ending for me, I think, was actually the best part. Like, I just love how it came full circle, and I love that she reclaimed then her own identity and decided what it meant for herself. Overall, what do I think? I think you already know what I think, but we'll recap anyway. Overall, it's a really brilliant novel if you are looking for something which is based on a different culture. The style of it is brilliantly written as well. I love the concept, and I love the honesty and the rawness of the characters and the experience that they go through. And I just think generally it explores so many different topics. It's not just about an Islamic girl living her life being repressed by her father. It's just, there's so many different things going on. I'm so glad I got to read it. It's not something I would have personally picked up off the shelves, but I'm so glad that I joined in this book tour, because Now I'm a huge fan, a huge fan, huge fan, huge fan. So that is it for this review today. Again, huge shout out to #press and literally PR, I think, who got me on the book tour for this and gifted me a copy of the book. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. But apart from that, that is all I have to say. So the camera died as I was literally 2 seconds away from saying goodbye. Anyway, so that is it for today's review, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. We're done. Are we done? Are we done? Come on. Oh my god, where am I going with this? Okay. Into it.